Hello and welcome to Your Business Live, here sponsored by Connexx. We do this each and every Tuesday and Thursday, and it's a way for us to highlight the members of our community here at Connexx. Connexx is a personal and business development team. We say team because together everyone achieves more, that supports each other, refers business to one another, and we're basically just a big group of friends that are getting through these challenging times with each other's help and support. And someone else who is helping with these challenging times is our guest today. Our guest is someone I've known for a couple of years now. His name is Bill Solz, and he specializes in a specific area of psychotherapy. So if Bill can come on in. Hello, Bill. If you can start off by just introducing yourself, telling us a little about what it is that you do.
Okay, so I'm a psychotherapist and I've been in private practice 36 years, and it has always been my goal to be able to effectuate more rapid healing with my clients. As such, I've gotten involved in different treatment techniques, and one that I use with every single client because it is so effective and quick acting is called havening.
And what exactly is havening? How's that different than traditional therapy?
Okay, so havening is regarded as a psychosensory approach, and it utilizes a combination of touch and distraction techniques to help individuals resolve trauma, anxiety, uh, depression, uh, anger issues. The other beautiful thing about havening is that, unlike most other treatment approaches, clients have the ability to learn it and thereby use it on their own. And I would submit to you that easily 80% of my clients actively use havening on a daily basis.
How popular or common is havening? Is this something that many therapists out there are currently using?
No, as a matter of fact, havening is a relatively new treatment approach. As a matter of fact, many clinicians still aren't even aware of it. It was developed 7 years ago, and I was fortunate enough to have received a scholarship to attend the first ever training. And I ultimately have become the 17th person in the world to be certified in havening.
Wow. How did you first stumble upon it or hear about it?
It's a great story. Actually, uh, there was a Vietnam veteran who was in one of my networking groups, and he said, "Bill, did you hear about havening?" And of course, I said no. And I was rather incredulous. And he said, "Come on, man, you're a trauma professional. You got to get on board. They're starting to use this in the UK." So, anyway, I was curious, but I was also very skeptical, you know, um, with the information coming from him. But I ended up reaching out to the doctors who created it. And I went to their first ever New York training in October of 2013.
Okay, and you say you've been doing it. It's been around for 7 years,
Correct.
and you've been doing it for how long?
7 years.
Oh, so right from that time. Okay. Um, with you said that you've been a therapist for 36 years. In the last 5 months or so, since quarantine and all that's going on, is this something unlike anything that you've dealt with before? Is it working its way into a lot of the sessions that you're doing with your patients? How has this had an impact?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's really been nothing bigger or more disturbing than the current COVID pandemic we're all experiencing. Um, I, you know, because I am a trauma professional, I was actively involved with the World Trade Center, you know, literally volunteering the very next day at the Ramada Inn with people who were in the buildings, around the buildings. And uh, that year, I was seeing people from 8 in the morning till 10 at night. And they were clearly very disturbed. Um, but in terms of the current pandemic, it's infiltrated every aspect of our lives. And it is a regular conversation that I have with my clients. And one of the things related to havening, again, is we're able to address a myriad of aspects that accrue from people's upsets, such as fear, anxiety, uh, worry, uh, depression. These have anger. These have all been um, outgrowths of this pandemic.
Are these normal emotions to be feeling in a time like this, or if someone is feeling like they don't want to wake up in the morning, or signs of depression, would you say that for the first time in your lifetime, that's almost normal or a normal feeling to be having?
Yeah. Well, given the nature of what we're experiencing, those those kind of feelings are normal. You know. However, needless to say, we don't like being caught up in terms of depression or having anger management issues or fear or anxiety, and that's where involvement in treatment can be very helpful.
I'm thinking to myself, in any kind of anxiety that either I've felt or friends of mine have felt. Um, like one in particular, if he is anxious to drive over a bridge, I could say, "Why are you afraid to go over a bridge? It's not like it's going to collapse. You're not going to drive off it." Is it different when you're dealing with something like COVID-19, in which there's so much unknown about it? How do you put someone's fears to rest or quell those feelings they may be having when we ourselves don't know about it?
Yeah, that's a great question, and in terms of your friend who has the fear of going over bridges, that would be referred to as a phobia, and in terms of what we're dealing with COVID, certainly there's a real reality-based aspect to it. Um, However, one of the things that we know from brain science is that trauma tends to Velcro on top of earlier unresolved trauma. And so those individuals who've had issues in the past that have been traumatic or, you know, or had where they had evoked, sadness or anxiety, the fact that they're experiencing this pandemic now only exacerbates all the old unresolved stuff. So, a good treatment regimen would entail not only dealing with the current stuff, but being able to tap into the old stuff and getting that resolved.
It makes sense. Of the patients that you've seen and used this treatment of havening on, what comes to mind as being the most dramatic change, and over what period of time was it?
Oh, okay. Okay. I could give you an example. A client had come to me because she was in job jeopardy. She was a nurse, and it turned out she was getting a maximum of 4 hours sleep at 2-hour intervals each night, and she was basically falling off her feet. So she was seeing a psychiatrist who had given her medication, and that wasn't helpful. And he insisted that she get involved in counseling. So she came to me, and I ended up literally doing a double session with her the first time. The first session was an intake. Second, I engaged her in the treatment of havening. And so this was on a Monday night. We scheduled again for Thursday, and she came in, and I said, how are you doing? So she said, let me put it to you like this. Each night I've gone to bed at 11 and I wake up at 7:30. And the reason for that, the first time she came in on intake, it turned out she had a breakup with a boyfriend, which was very upsetting to her. And we were able to resolve that issue via havening literally in one session.
And now, I know you said that you incorporate this with all the patients that you're seeing. Are you also doing talk therapy as well, or when they come in, is your intention to right off the bat start with this technique?
Okay. Well, okay. A majority of my practice is literally talk therapy. However, clients who come to me come in usually a very agitated state. They clearly have issues that they're very anxious to address, and I know of no other treatment approach that is quicker acting and more effective than havening. So invariably, the second session or the first session after intake, I will engage them and address, their primary concern, uh, via havening, and thereby they learn it right after that session, so they're able to use it on their own. So they're much better equipped to effectively manage their emotional state.
Wow. And do you think that havening will become a bigger technique that more clinicians will be using in the future?
Oh, no question. Um, right now it's technically what's called not evidence based, and once it becomes that, it's going to explode. As a matter of fact, related to its efficacy, the Amen Clinic, which does SPECT scans, that they take pictures of the brain, and in the pictures they're able to identify where trauma is. There's a diamond pattern that shows up. Post havening, that diamond pattern doesn't exist.
Wow. So that's definite evidence. Let's see. Question coming in. How can someone implement havening into their life?
Uh, Rather simply, as a matter of fact, uh, Jacqueline, one of the things I've been doing is a lot of pro bono workshops where I do demonstration of havening, and I encourage the people to actively use it. Uh, Havening, as I said, is based on a combination of touch, and to for people who are having difficulty handling whatever emotions they have, this would be an example of providing the havening touch, just going from your shoulders to your elbows, and if you wish, like washing your hands. And in conjunction with doing that, all you really need to do is express the upsetting emotion that you're having, such as angry, sad, sad, anxious. So, what you're actually doing is you're providing yourself with a very powerful release. And one of the reasons that the touch is so powerful is that as infants, we are hardwired through the warm, soothing touch that we receive from our caregivers. So by applying havening, we're actually mimicking that initial warm, loving, soothing touch that evoke calm and safety to us. So it's very effective in terms of promoting self-soothing and a release of our emotions.
Wow, that's interesting. Where is it based on that, or is it to mimic that feeling?
Yeah, yeah. As a matter of fact, Dr. Ron Rudin, who developed it, he's a Harvard trained neurobiologist. He he noticed that babies seem to be calmed down through the warm, soothing touch of their caregiver. So with that, he began to postulate that the notion of touch would be critical in terms of promoting healing. And after 15 years of research, he came up with what he called havening.
Wow. Another question. Do you personally use havening?
Yes, yes, I do. As a matter of fact, interestingly enough, when I first got trained, um, I was going through a major trauma for myself. And during the training, I ended up addressing that with another person who was newly being trained. And I could not believe that after that initial evening where I ended up playing the role of client, that the issue that I had was very much resolved. And the trauma that I was experiencing was ongoing. So I ended up utilizing havening very actively for myself. Um, at this juncture, I use it a lot less, but it's very helpful to do it on a daily basis, simply in terms of reciting positive affirmations, such as I'm grateful for my family. I'm looking forward to having a stress-free day. As a matter of fact, I run a group of men who've been charged with domestic violence, and the after intake, I I teach each of them individually how to haven, and we identify a very upsetting memory that they've had in the past, and we're able to clear that out in one session. And going forward, every group session that we have, I'll take them through, you know, a quick havening exercise, which are all positive affirmations.
All right, this last question from me might be way out there, and you might not know the answer to. If you have people that have been charged with domestic violence or hostility or anger issues, and if they are all individuals in which that rage or anger is coming from the same place, if it's stemming from them not having an upbringing with a lot of love, nurturing, and care, could it be ineffective to do havening because you didn't have that warm touch from a caretaker?
No. Hey, my experience is that I would have to say 98% of my clients, you know, very much embrace havening and have done very well with it. So even if you did not grow up in that warm, nurturing household, um, you can very much infuse, some of the benefits just by doing that.
Great. Well, thank you, Bill, for joining us today and telling us about this area that you're practicing. I think it's very interesting. I've done it with you myself, and it was different than other therapies that I've done before, and it makes total sense. So I encourage anyone that's interested in learning more about this treatment or for anything related to, I guess, all areas, Bill, of mental health and anxiety, depression, they can see you for anything, correct?
Correct. I just don't do marriage counseling.
Okay, so for anything other than, so after the marriage counseling, or if it leads to divorce, the trauma itself can be dealt with through havening. So you can contact Bill. His information is down below, Stress Solutions of New York. Thank you, Bill, very much. Any questions or anything, please contact Bill directly right there.
It was a pleasure being here, Chris.
Thanks so much.
I also want to thank you for the tremendous job you've done with the group.
Thank you so much. Yes, it's all about the people. Meeting such an awesome, the community of Connexx really is an unbelievable thing. And with 4 new additions yesterday, growing by the week. So thank you, Bill. Sean, if you can pop on up, I want to. So I was hearing fuzz and static as we were going, and I wasn't sure if it was coming from me or just Bill. So was it every time I spoke? Is it right now?
Yes.
Is that you imitating me because it's going slow?
Yeah, no, it's not going slow. It's just staticky. But we could understand you. It's just staticky.
That's funny. Yeah, it's that we can understand you.
Yeah.
It's kind of like me with Spanish. I can listen to it and kind of understand it here and there, but not fluently.
Did
you get the gist of what Bill was saying, or was it?
Yes. No, of course. No, I always like listening to Bill, and he's such a nice and generous guy. He, when he was talking about his pro bono work, he offered to speak, in front of my team at work, and we had him on one of our. We had one coffee call. It was at 2:30. He came on and he showed everyone how to haven, and I got really good, really good feedback from it. So, I think, Bill's involved a lot on the, the mental health side, and I think. It's something that's not discussed enough. And I think, for anyone who has trouble with mental health, you don't just have to feel it. You can go seek help from people, and Bill is a great place to start.
I don't know if you said that really slowly and it just took you a long time to get all that out, or if that was the static slowing down the pace in which you were speaking. So I don't know if it's a static or you. I don't know if you can hear me right now because I'm not sure if there's so much static.
It's a progress in my public speaking, not to speak too fast.
No, you definitely nailed that. Definitely nailed it. Got that part down. But all right, well, thank you, Sean. And
yep.
I'll wrap up so fast because who knows what people can hear. Because they're getting maybe just every 5 words or one of every 5 words. So I apologize if the sound was not optimal for this interview, but that does not take away from how effective Bill is working with people. So I encourage anyone that's interested in a very effective solution to anxiety, depression, trauma, reach out to Bill. And if you want to learn more about Connexx or interested in having your business featured on Your Business Live, please check out the website, getconnexx.com. There's more information there about Connexx, the community that we have. I was waiting for Sean to pop up the website address, but clearly too many words are being cut off due to static, so he didn't hear me giving the cue. But if you're interested in learning more, visit getconnexx.com. I gave him another shot and he missed it. Oh well, what are you going to do? Thank you for joining us today for Your Business Live. We will see you on Monday for Zoom at noon, and I hope you caught that through the static. Thank you, and have a good day, everybody.